thing for India to have done, because it is not, we are not interfering in Egypt's internal affairs.
So you're saying
but
it's a
this will also serve us.
Okay.
No, this will serve our national interest, because Mubarak is history, and the next government which comes to power will know that Egypt was with the people of India was with the people of Egypt.
Okay, I just have enough
No,
time
but
for a couple of...
let
it was self-interest rather than principle.
Yes, I say that.
He's saying it's a mixture.
No. The two combined here.
You know, because if we take the principles, then the next time China blocks Twitter, we should
forget about China. Here, principle of non-interference and our national interest.
I think there is a misconception here. I would like to add one point, because this repeatedly comes in the discussion that India is sidelining with the Arab or the pro-Palestinian. And that's not an issue. India is siding with the justice. As much as the Jewish has suffered in the Holocaust, the Jewish, they have the right to survive. Similar things is the Palestinians have the right to survive. It's a justice. There is occupation, there is suppression. That is why India took the principal position, irrespective of your interest or no interest on this. That's the point I want to make.
Okay, I'm going to take a...
Let me just make one point about Israel. You see, we are buying weapons from Israel, fine. Why should I agree with Mr. Dasgupta that it is good for, we need those weapons, and we are buying those weapons from Israel. But this should give us a certain leverage vis-a-vis Israel, because more than 30% of Israel's arms industry depends on Indian market. So rather than us acquiring leverage with them, they are acquiring, or they have acquired leverage on our foreign policy. This is where we are going wrong.
All right, I have to take a break, and when we come back, we have just enough time to take a few questions from the audience and get last comments from the panel. That's after a quick break. Welcome back. We have just enough time for final comments and a couple of questions from the audience. I believe this gentleman had a question.
Well, I would like to ask the question that first Tunisia, now Egypt and other countries following. If Hosni Mubarak steps down and say immediately, wouldn't it inspire or say instigate revolutions, uprisings at other countries and destabilize an already unstable Middle East?
Can I ask Professor Ahmed from Mumbai to answer that question? So where do you see this going? We've already seen sort of an impact of what happened in Tunisia, in Egypt, in Yemen, Algeria. Do you think that if Hosni Mubarak goes, that there'll be continue to be a domino effect?
Nidhi, first of all, Mubarak is not the issue. The issue is the regime. In Tunisia, it was not only the dictator, but the whole all his cohorts had to leave under pressure of the popular uprising. And what we are talking about is not Mubarak's departure and Suleiman taking over, but whether or not the regime will collapse. Egypt is a central country. If there is a democratic revolution in Egypt, then the whole of the Arab world will follow suit in one way or another. There will be democratic uprisings. The country that is most hysterical about that prospect is, of course, Israel, because these are regimes that have very good relationships with Israel, and if there is a democratic revolution in Egypt and in the surrounding countries, then that whole policy of collusion with Israel that these states have followed all those years will collapse.
Okay,
but Egypt is pivotal. Is there going to be a systemic change? Is not just regime, but is the whole regime going to go? Is there going to be a transitional process led by representatives of the people who are actually making this revolution? Or is it going to be just another part of the regime? But I think that if there is a successful transition to democracy in Egypt, it will have very far-reaching influence across the Arab world.
Very significant points. I have one last question that I can take from this gentleman here. Yes.
Egypt has a core problem of a corrupt and inefficient government and also unemployment among the youth. So do you think if Mubarak steps down, these things will be cured so easily?
Okay, so as Professor Ahmed was also saying, Ambassador Gari Khan, that it's not just about Mubarak stepping down, it's about a complete regime change. The last word to you tonight.
No, I think if Mubarak steps down, then there may be uncertainty for a period of time, not very long, I think. But those problems that this gentleman mentioned are not going to go away or not going to be resolved simply because there is a new or a democratic government there. I think people are really, it is not just unemployment and high prices that is driving this revolution in Egypt. It is basically the repression, the suppression that the people have suffered for the last 30 years. The denial of fundamental rights, right to freedom of speech, expression, freedom of worship. The Christians are persecuted. So that all is what is driving this revolution, not just the economic or social factor. But I also would like to say, and I hope that your people there and all other Indian media which are there, I think they should let the people of Egypt know that Indian people, and now the Indian government, they are strongly with the people of Egypt in their hour of crisis, in their hour of revolution, and that because they probably have no means of finding out what is India's stand on this revolution which is going on. So I hope your people will spread the word around that we are with the people of Egypt and with the democratic forces in that country.
Is it a revolution or is it just democracy without a revolution?
Revolution will lead to democracy.
Wait and see.
All right, gentlemen, thank you very much for joining me on the program tonight on this special edition of the show. We'll be back next week at the same time. Thanks for watching.